2020 has been a critical year for Colombia and it still remains complex. Violence against Afro-Colombian communities, indigenous communities, the constant killing of social leaders, human rights defenders, and the massacres led by criminal groups. A lot of things have happened here in Colombia, but two of these caught the world attention. The first one, three massacres in less than 1 week that left at least 28 people dead. The second one person killed by a police officer, causing a wave of protest, and at least 13 murders. Not long ago, I was in Aguachica Cesar, near to the Catatumbo Basin, where actually 1 week ago was killed an important social leader and two professors were kidnapped. While I was working there, I personally felt the fear of the children and the inhabitants of rural areas. Fear of kidnappers, of armed groups, and violence. So, what can we do to stem or reduce the criminal rate and violence here in Colombia? That's the main question.
The World Health Organization defined violence as the intentional use of power or force against oneself, another person, against a group or community. It has a high likelihood of resulting in death, injury, etc. There are some kinds of violence, for example, interpersonal violence, collective violence, self-directed violence. In this video, we are going to talk about interpersonal violence, especially in communities. Also, it is important to say that the nature of this phenomenon can be physical, sexual, and psychological. Police violence, for example, is an effect of psychological causes. The mental health is an issue that doesn't have appropriate attention. For example, in the police, there is not a test that prove some people are capable of have any responsibility. The police can be said that they have enough or property strategies to ensure all its member has good health, but it is not true. We can evidence it in many cases or many violence events by the police. Some member of the police has inadequate attitudes, inadequate events that shows a dangerous behavior, but the police doesn't consider it as a big deal. Here in Colombia, the police is an institution that has inadequate laws. Thus, the member of the police doesn't receive the education or the appropriate education. The members of the police are not educated to help people to solve problems. It looks like of the ethical part of the police has been forgotten. And as I said before, the mental health is an issue that it is so important and the police has to investigate or research more in these issues to reduce the violence events by its members. Another cause of violence is here in Colombia there are not respect for a different point of view. We can watch it, or one example is in the social leaders who are person who fight for human rights, and we can evidence, unfortunately, we can evidence who or how they are killed by some bad people who doesn't respect different ideas, different postures.
Violence is a multifaceted problem with a biological, psychological, social, and environmental origins. There is no single or simple solution to the problem. Violence must be addressed at multiple levels and multiple sectors of society simultaneously. Violence prevention police and programs can be targeted at individuals, relationships, communities, and entire societies, and delivered in collaboration with different sectors of society, in schools, workplaces, and other institutions. In this particular case of a study, we can focus on the institution of police, the entire Colombian society, and also more specifically in individuals. Police institution. We know that for a person to start being part of the police institution, they must first go through some health, academic, and physics studies. But how rigorous are they being with psychological and behavioral studies? This may be superficially addressed with an interview or home visit, but more effort may be required to ensure that this new person or new member of the police institution is a fit, safe, trustworthy person to be in charge of the citizen security. Today, the institution of the police is highly questioned and has lost much credibility and trust of the part of the public. The abuse of power, the abuse of authority, and the abuse of force by some members have triggered a general stereotypes of all police officers. All this leads to police officers being constantly discriminated against and rejected by a certain group of the population, and that in any situation present where the police have to intervene, they receive a very large emotional burden. This can be a problem since the police may not be being trained to withstand psychological stress, which makes them react to a situation in an unnatural way to the principles of the institution. It can lead them to respond with abuse of the force or an authority. They can even reach the point of attacking both a citizen and leading him to death. Therefore, a proposal for this is to start more rigorous training in emotion management and reaction in extremely stressful situations. Colombian society. Social approach to reducing violence focus on cultural, social, and economic factors and how these factors shape different settings and entire communities. The types of approaches that focus on these broader social factors include legislature and judicial remedies, such as the creation and improvement of laws against the corporal punishment of children at home, school, or in other settings. Mandatory report laws for children abuse and elder abuse and processes for handling cases of family violence. Policy change to reduce poverty and inequality and improve support for families such as social assistance and economic development programs, job creation, improved education, parental leave, maternity employment, and child care arrangement. Employment, disarmament, and demobilization programs in post-conflict countries, including the provision of alternative employment for ex-combatants. Measures to reduce gun violence have been instituted in a variety of countries, including tighter police of illegal gun possession and tightening rules for gun storage to prevent theft of trade in stolen weapons. These measures have been shown to be effective to reducing homicide and suicide rates in some settings.
Yeah, it's true. We, the Colombian citizens, need some changes on policies, on institutions, but we contribute too in the solution. Well, we need the participate of every one of us in each home, putting the day 2 cents. How? Well, in education of adults, teenagers, and kids. Education in what? Well, education in four important topics.
Education about respect for the life and thoughts for the other people. Education about the drugs. Training on managing emotion and feelings. Education and emphasis on the importance of mental health.
I vote for Petro. I vote for Fajardo.
It's necessary to parents focus their attention and teach about respect for the other and thoughts that they have. All people act and think differently, but in the difference you can find points of view that can show an effective solution for everyone. Legality is a mechanism that helps to exterminate criminal gangs and end their great purchasing power. Owing to this, it's necessary for all people regardless of age to receive correct education about this substance. But at the same time, the information is replicated for the youngest age. It is the best way to prevent young people from falling into drugs addiction and the country can move towards progress. It is necessary that all people can receive education in managing emotion and feelings and how to express them. It's not necessary for children, young people, or elderly or adults to be happy all the time. Sadness, anguish, and anger are also natural emotions that all human beings feel. We just need to learn to hold them.
Well, the last point, and one of the most important, we need to pay attention to mental health care. It's an issue that many years has gone unnoticed, but for the progress of our country, we need to keep in mind. It's important to trust on professionals like a psychologist or psychiatrist, but we need to trust them and we need to understand why they help us, and it's so important for everyone. We need to understand that and replicate at home. Well, that is all. Every one of us can or put the contribute to the solution and progress of the nation. Is all. See you later.